Goblin Horde. I am the Goblin King, and today we learned that Bob Chapek is a pathetic, sniveling excuse of a man. We also learned that Will Smith received his supposed punishment from the Academy today as well. Yesterday's double feature was kind of fun, so I think that we're going to cover two stories again today. So, I think what we're going to do is, rather than going through an article, because you know that the only ones talking about this thing for what it is are on one side of the aisle here. Now, I know that I often pull from one side or the other, but this issue I felt needed to be talked about from a balanced perspective. I mean, sure, I plan on ripping Bob Chapek up one side and down the other, but I want it to come from a balanced source. Rather than coming from something like Breitbart, where you know people would get their panties in a bunch just from that name alone. I would like to be able to say, hey, I watched these videos. These are my opinions and I wasn't influenced by any other thinkers. Know what I mean? So I'm just going to watch the videos and then comment where I see fit as the need strikes me.
Hello everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day for this very important session. By now, I hope you've all read my most recent note, in which I pledged to be a better ally for the LGBTQ+ community, apologize for not being the ally that you needed me to be, and committed to ensuring that our company lives up to its values.
See, right off the bat you can tell that this motherfucker is reading off of a script or some sort of teleprompter. This isn't natural language and his eyes are darting from left to right as if he's reading something. I mean, I have my scripts too, but at least when I do my scripts, they're actually my words and I'm writing in the way I speak. There isn't anybody else pushing any sorts of thoughts into my head. I mean, I'm sure you all can hear the difference between when I'm just reading my own words and thoughts in my own cadence, and when I'm quoting somebody else or reading directly from an article or tweet, for instance. He has that same cadence and pattern to his speech as I do when I'm reading somebody else's words. Anyway, let's get back to it.
I meant every word, and that's what we're here to talk about today. I know that we've got work to do, and that work starts with listening.
Disney has got a lot to improve, and it all starts with listening. Isn't that how all this SJW propaganda starts? With listening? Don't talk. Listen. Be a better ally. Listen. Listen and validate me. How about you listen to your actual paying customers, Bob? How about you listen to your shareholders before your stocks completely tank, Bob? How about you stop listening to morons and crazy people and actually run your business like a business, Bob?
I'm glad the company will hear from today's panel of LGBTQ+ employees, and I hope that you are as impacted as I've been by the voices that I've heard over the past few weeks. I've read many emails that have been sent, spoken with LGBTQ+ employees and their allies, met with advocacy groups, and convened my own leadership team. And I have been taken by the honesty, the openness, and the urgency of their stories.
The urgency of their stories? What urgency could there possibly be within these stories, Bob? These people at this point in time are some of the most privileged motherfuckers in the Western world at this point, Bob. I mean, when it comes to the oppression Olympics, these motherfuckers actually overtake any racial minority in existence. Biological women are being erased from their own spaces to accommodate these people. You have corpos like yourselves bending over backwards to try to accommodate less than 1% of the global population. So how exactly is there any sort of urgency behind these people's words? Do you even know, for a fact, that anything these fuckos are telling you is the truth? How do you know that the stories these people have told you are true?
I want you to know that your words have made a real impact on me. I understand that we've made mistakes and the pain that those mistakes have caused. And I know that our silence wasn't just about the bill in Florida.
Oh, you mean that bill that says teachers aren't allowed to groom and indoctrinate little kids? That bill, Bob?
But about every time an individual or institution that should have stood up for this community did not.
What the actual fuck does that have to do with anything, Bob? Again, the Florida bill, now law, has absolutely nothing to do with the alphabet community, Bob. Not a single solitary thing. Nothing. Again, I ask, who's not standing up for this community, Bob? Who? Name a single institution that doesn't bend over backwards to accommodate them. I'll wait.
I and the leadership team are determined to use this moment as a catalyst for more meaningful and lasting change. We've heard many suggestions on how to do that, and we are working to move quickly. I want to thank the LGBTQIA+ Advisory Council, their allies, and everyone else who has submitted ideas on how we can take action. I am convening a meeting with all my direct reports and representatives of the Advisory Council to discuss the thoughtful suggestions that have been made. But we know the moment requires urgency and words are not enough. So we are taking some actions right now.
LGBT Advisory Council. What a fucking joke. I bet 90% of that so-called advisory council are white Karens. How much you want to bet? I also bet there's not a single solitary diverse thought among them either. Every single one of them just parroting, do better, do better. Then you have this stupid bitch, Carrie Burt. I'm sure you all remember her from about a week ago. The mother groomer of 2 queer children, quote-unquote. She talks about how they used to target Gen Z and millennials in their programming at Freeform, and how nobody stopped them. What she doesn't realize is that fucking nobody ever watched Freeform. That's why they were able to get away with the bullshit that they got away with. Nothing more. However, go ahead and take a listen.
When I was at Freeform, it was very much in the brand ethos of Freeform to be the tip of the spear when it comes to inclusion. And we, like you, LaToya, I mean, we jumped up and down, we celebrated that, nobody stopped us. And it felt great. And in part, I think nobody stopped us because we were, we were targeting Gen Z and millennials. We were targeting a younger, I think more open-minded, and now we know, as my son texted me this morning, Gen Z is 30 to 40% queerer than the other generation's mom. So Disney better get with it. And
then they've got some other idiot who identifies as a bi-romantic asexual. Just hearing that makes me want to punch this bitch with a truck. For real. What the actual fuck does that even mean? It's just a word salad, all presentation and holds no actual depth or meaning to it. I'm not even going to give her the time of day in my video either. She can eat a garbage truck full of dicks. All she's doing is using this shit for clout. That's it. Like so many of these people that identify as rainbow unicorns and shit, she realized a long time ago that she wasn't a special snowflake and decided to make up this little mantle in order to become special and unique. The only problem with that is that when everybody's super, nobody is, and this shit is going to fuck up a lot of these kids for life. Mark my words. The next story isn't that involved or in-depth. It's simply an update to the ongoing fiasco that has become Will Smith's life and career. According to this article from Variety, the Academy's Board of Governors met earlier today to discuss the consequences for Will Smith's actions at the Oscars last weekend. That decision was to ban Will Smith from the Oscars for a period of 10 years, starting from today, April 8th. The 94th Oscars were meant to be a celebration of the many individuals in our community who did incredible work this past year. However, those moments were overshadowed by the unacceptable and harmful behavior we saw Mr. Smith exhibit on stage. During our telecast, we did not adequately address the situation in the room. For this, we are sorry. This was an opportunity for us to set an example for our guests, viewers, and our Academy family around the world, and we fell short. Unprepared for the unprecedented. Today, the Board of Governors convened a meeting to discuss how best to respond to Will Smith's actions at the Oscars. In addition to accepting his resignation, the board has decided for a period of 10 years from April 8, 2022, Mr. Smith shall not be permitted to attend any Academy events or programs, in person or virtually, including but not limited to the Academy Awards. We want to express our deep gratitude to Mr. Rock for maintaining his composure under extraordinary circumstances. We also want to thank our hosts, nominees, presenters, and winners for their poise and grace during our telecast. This action we are taking today in response to Will Smith's behavior is a step toward a larger goal of protecting the safety of our performers and guests and restoring trust in the Academy. We also hope this can begin a time of healing and restoration for all involved and impacted. Though it's not in this article, I guess. The board did hold a vote across its membership to decide whether or not to rescind Will Smith's Oscar. However, it seems that the board was evenly split on that decision. I do believe that some of their reasoning was that since both Harvey Weinstein and Roman Polanski still have their Oscars, that it was more than a bit hypocritical to take Smith's away for what he did. There is definitely a part of me that can see that argument, and even agree to it up to a point. However, I would respond with this. Why the actual fuck do those people still have their Oscars? Number one. And two, since when is Hollywood against hypocrisy? Also, the Oscar ban on Will Smith would not preclude him from actually being nominated or receiving more Oscars, by the way. It simply precludes him from attending either in person or a Zoom call or whatever. That's it. Anyway, Goblins, I think that's all I can really say about these stories today. As always, these are my opinions and mine alone. You're welcome to give me your opinions in that handy section down below. While you're down there, maybe you can find my hope for a better tomorrow. I seem to have lost it at some point over the last few years. If, for whatever reason, you like my opinions and my sexy, sexy voice, you can join the Viridian Horde by crushing those like and subscribe buttons. Like a goblin. I'll see you all on Monday for more pop culture propaganda. Thank you for sticking around this long. I'll see you then. Lates.